So let's open it up to the audience.
I'm really curious about the video diaries that he did, and I hear you've seen them. How much of that was scripted, and how much of... I mean, did you take notes when you were watching them, or did you improvise it all?
He took a camera down there, the same camera, and he recorded about 50 minutes of messages to his... Most of the ones you see in the film are verbatim. He promised his mum that he would not show them to many people. And that led me to think that when we saw them, if we could get to see them, and he did agree eventually, that they'd be very difficult to watch. They'd be wretched, and, you know, you'd see a man in total despair. But in fact, they're not. They're actually very controlled.
Martin Conterio wants to know, can you ask Danny if he was ever in the same situation as Aaron Rosden, would he cut his own arm off with a penknife?
Yeah, you get asked that a lot, actually, I think, funnily enough. Yeah, one of the beliefs in making the film was that we'd all do it, really. It's very difficult to imagine that now, but I think having been through it, you know, and learnt about it, I think you would do it. You'd try it anyway. And animals do it. They chew their leg off and crawl away from a trap, you know. And so we'd all do it, you know. That instinct to keep going, if is very, very strong in us and much more powerful than our comfort levels would lead us to believe, you know.
Him cutting his arm off, it was probably the most brutal and hard scene I've ever had to sit through. Was there a version where it was longer?
Bloodier.
It was longer, yeah. It was gorier or something, you know, it was more gorier. Because it was, I think it was a perfect balance. I didn't cover my face, but boy did I pucker.
No, we didn't. In fact, I sort of knew it would be dangerously vulnerable to influence if we allowed it to be so. And so we shot it very closely to the book. We followed the book very closely. We edited it, and then we kept it like that. It was like we put it in a vault, and I wouldn't let anybody change it.
Hi, it's great to see that you're doing smaller films. I mean, you must have been inundated with scripts after your Oscar success. Is that something you want to continue to do?
I'm not very good at those bigger budget films. I mean, what we try to do is we try to take $10 million and turn it into $100 million, if you can. Whereas I know if I was given $200 million, it'd look like 150. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's weird the way you just know that about yourself. And I love people like Nolan who can take $200 million and make it look like $400 million. You know, but it's just a different skill set, really. And a sort of, I like that challenge of not quite having enough and not knowing quite how to do it. I really love that ingredient. Having said that, you know, you should never say never to anything, but that's certainly the idea at the moment, yeah, is to keep making films like that, you know. I mean, the Coen brothers have done it for years, and the only fuck-up they made was Hudsucker Proxy, wasn't it, when they took, you know, the $100 million, and it's kind of... And they learnt it, and they're bright, and so, you know, you'd be foolish not to learn from them, really, you know.